Welcome back to La Vida Mora Puerto Rico. I want to try to get straight to the point today because I tend to talk and let a lot of my feelings out in my XLV. So I can kind of get off of topic a little bit. Okay, so reason number one, my husband and I were familiar with each other since we were children. Our mothers were best friends when they were in high school and both living in New York. Although both of our mothers were born in Puerto Rico, they grew up most of their time in New York City. Years later, my husband's mother moved back to Puerto Rico. She had my husband, and life went on. So him and I became a thing in adulthood. We met for the second time when we were in our 30s. The first time we met, we were 3 and 5 years old. And one thing led to another, and we fell in love, and there was a choice to be made if I would move here to Puerto Rico, where he already had a home and where his children from his previous marriage were living, or if he would come to New York City and we would kind of build from there. There was a choice, there was a decision to be made, but it was always leaning more towards Puerto Rico. It is my culture, that it is where my parents are from, so there is just this connection that you cannot deny. There is just something inside of you, inside of your soul, inside of your instincts, that when you do come here and you visit, you almost just feel like you belong here, as if you've been pulled away and living a fake life somewhere else, and you belong here. This is what I felt when I came to visit him. So we had a couple of meetups before we got married, and since the first time that I came here, it was as if the trees and the ocean and the sky and the land was calling to me and telling me, this is where you belong. Everything that made sense told me not to move to PR. It actually made more sense to stay in New York. I had an amazing job. I knew my husband could get a job because he spoke fluent English. Money-wise, it seemed more convenient. Help-wise, it seemed more convenient because I had all my family, etc. And even education-wise, it seemed more convenient. But there was just something calling me to my island and to my people. Not that typical story of, we saved up so much money working in the States and we were able to have like this luxury in PR because everything was so much cheaper, or it wasn't like that. It actually seemed the opposite. It actually felt like if I had more in New York, and I was sort of downgrading in a sense, or maybe some people saw it that way, but in reality, or for me, it was an upgrade for my spirit, for my soul, for my lifestyle, for just becoming a little bit more grounded and minimal. It was essential, and it was almost as if the decision was made for me. I often joke with my husband that if him and I ever call things off, I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, I will do whatever it takes to be able to stay here and continue to raise my children here. So that is reason number one. Reason number two, for me, there seems to be these moments of awakening, these moments of realization. Sometimes they're not so subtle. Sometimes they are hard and painful, and you suffer and you almost become afraid. There are these moments of, okay, is the world really changing? Are we doomed? What is actually going on? What has happened to society? What has happened to education? What is going on? And I just feel closer to God. And I understand that you have God anywhere and everywhere. But I just feel more in my element living here and being a little bit more sustainable. Just even the concept of community, the concept of getting, vegetables and fruits from your neighbor and exchanging and just appreciating these smaller things in life. My children getting so excited about being able to go to the beach weekly instead of being able to go to like a museum or some kind of indoor amusement park or something. Although I do appreciate those as well, there's just something about connecting with nature, and I get more of that living here. It's not for everyone. Not everyone enjoys that as much as we do, but it's definitely for us. And I just feel like you have to kind of listen to those voices. It's not always easy. Like I said, this can be really difficult sometimes, especially because I was a city girl for almost all my life. I moved here in my mid-30s, so more connection to Mother Earth. And here is where we are connecting. Reason number 3, it's almost an oxymoron, because in a sense my son had more offered to him while living in New York City. I do have a special needs child. He is a teenager now. It hasn't been easy, and just because he's so connected to nature here and it's very therapeutic doesn't mean that all his issues have gone away. But there is just something more. There is a growth that I've seen in him that I don't think I would have gotten living where I was living. This is going to sound like a far stretch, or maybe I'm exaggerating a point, or maybe I wanted to sound convincing or appealing. I'm not really sure, but I am just speaking from truth. Even the natural disasters that we have experienced while living here, we have experienced Hurricane Maria, and we have experienced the earthquakes. We were already living in PR when all of these things happened. Even those natural disasters, the concept of losing power and him not having access to using the television or an iPad or anything like that, or Wi-Fi, although they were difficult at first, these things actually helped him. And I know it almost sounds like, well, that's kind of torturous for him. He shouldn't have to go from one extreme to another where he has so much at his fingertips, and now he has to adjust to this sort of like backwards kind of life of, not having the means to do everything. He handles it pretty well, and I'm proud of him. I've seen a strength in him that I don't think I would have seen before, because I was cushioning him so much, or I should say everything was cushioning him so much, that it never kind of forced me to see things on a different path, in a different way. I was so afraid to change routine. I was so afraid to, rattle him. And because nature kind of did it for us here, it was forced upon him and forced upon us dealing with him while going through that. And he has done so well. God bless him. And I just feel that in general, this lifestyle for him has just improved. It has improved him overall. Looking, cutting it from a different corner, it's actually been amazing, and I am so grateful. That's not everyone's choice. That's not what everyone wants, and I respect and I understand. But for me, it is just a grounding and an adjustment to real life that I don't think I was giving him in New York City. So those are my top 3 reasons. I wanted this to kind of be quick. I'm not getting into anything that has to do with careers or jobs or real estate. That is not my thing on this channel. There are plenty of videos that you can look up and, just type in the search, and I'm sure you will find them. But yeah. Besitos, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next vlog or on my vlogs